Hi, this is Kathy from Craft with Kathy. Thanks for joining me this evening. I wanted to show you how we can use some of the transfers from the winter warm-up with our heart cutouts that are on sale right now. They're really good price, 50% off retail. Club Couture members actually get 60% off, so that's even better. So just wanted to point that out. And talking about Club Couture members, today is the 28th, and I like to give everybody a reminder near the end of the month about Club Couture. Club Couture is our monthly subscription package. This happens to be the design for December. Good things are going to happen. And Club Couture is a monthly subscription package that delivers to your doorstep one 8.5 by 11 size transfer and 3 individual color coordinated paste packets to use with the transfer, and that's more than enough to do the project once, twice, possibly even more. And basically it's $19.99 a month plus tax. Shipping is on us. And with being a member of Club Couture, I get to spoil you rotten, which is always fun in my VIP group, but also the company gives you different perks and benefits every month throughout the year. Shipping is $4.95 for any additional thing that you would want to order, regardless of the volume. If you ordered 10 surfaces or 10 frames like this, it's $4.95. If you ordered 50 of them, it's $4.95. Flat rate shipping, regardless on the size of the order, so you could save a lot of money there. That's always good. But basically, it delivers you in an hour of creative bliss. You don't have to think about picking out a design. You don't have to decide on what colors, because they're color coordinated for you. And it just gives you that an hour or so of escape every month. And being that our transfers are reusable 8 to 12 times, that allows you to create it for yourself and create it for a friend. Put it away and save it for when you need a gift for someone. This happens to be January's Club Couture. Isn't it beautiful? Love is not just looking at each other. It's looking in the same direction. Whoa. Makes a point, doesn't it? So this is January's. This is December's. Club members have access to designs that are exclusive to club members and designers only. So if you are not a club member, you cannot purchase this transfer. Only available to club members, only available to the end of the month. So if you'd like this transfer, you need to hop on into the Club Couture, before the end of the month and sign up. This is December's. This is January's. I will put the link to Club Couture if you'd like to find out any additional information about it down in the comments. And you can check it out. If you have any questions, just drop me a line in the comments and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. So that's my little plug about Club Couture. Like I said, I like to remind everyone before the end of the month so that they don't miss out on something if they needed to get this transfer. Okay, onwards and upwards. I'm so excited about winter warm-up. The designs are absolutely beautiful. And we have this new mason jar cut out. I'm not using that tonight. I'm going to use the heart cutouts, and I'm going to use this large transfer. It's 18 inches by 18 inches, and it's the hand brushed heart pattern, and I'm going to apply it to my cutout hearts. Remember, you never have to use an entire transfer. You could use part of it. You could select elements from within a transfer and use them. It really is all up to you, and because they're adhesive backed, it makes it very easy. Because our transfers are made with vinyl and silk screen, we get a very high definition and beauty to the font and to the images. And they're adhesive backed and reusable 8 to 12 times with proper care. So that makes everything easy. I've got a couple little things out here for embellishments. Oh, where do I want to start? Okay, I'm going to be using wood, so because I'm going to be chalking on wood, I need to have my little surface wax. And the surface wax does two things. Excuse me. It prevents me from picking up any paint or any loose fibers or splinters from the surface. And it also acts as a barrier between the chalk paste and the surface, so that the chalk paste, the pigmentation from the chalk paste, is not absorbed as quickly into the surface. Especially useful for working on wood. You do not need to wax chalkboard or dry erase board or mirror or glass or metal. But with wood, it provides a barrier so that if I make a mistake and actually color in the wrong thing or use the wrong color or go off the transfer and make a mistake on my surface, I could usually wipe it off with a damp paper towel easily and quickly, and no muss, no fuss. There's no problem with it in case I make a mistake or an oops. So before I get started with actually using the transfer, though, I want to distress these wooden hard cutouts. They're already whitewashed, and you could use a little sponge hand sander. You could obviously use an electric sander. I am going to use what actually is a nail file for acrylic nails, because I find that I could actually distress the edges of my cutouts much quicker than even using a sponge hand sander. So I'm just going to kind of go around the edges here and distress it a bit. I might be using the wrong side. Okay, there we go. A little bit better with the other side, the grip. And I kind of want to distress this a little bit because I'm going to use a little leather tie with it, and we're going to kind of go with some leather and lace on the heart. I probably could have done one of these beforehand so that you didn't have to wait and watch me sand. Hindsight, what could I say? And of course, if you don't like the distressed look, you don't have to sand your surface. It really is a matter of personal taste. Sometimes I do like distress, sometimes I don't. It really depends on the project for me. Sometimes it just seems like it needs that little bit of rough edging of things and whatever. And I'm only going to do one side tonight, which basically allows me to chalk on the other side a totally different look or image if I want. So if I want one side to look kind of farmhouse and distressed, I can. If I want the other side to look a little bit more sophisticated and maybe use some shimmers or some gold or something like that, I could do too. Whatever I want, and then basically use the same piece as part of my decor and change it up depending upon how the mood suits me. Just a little bit of distressing here. I need to do a little bit more here, I think. And then I'll wipe this down, clean up my surface, and we'll get on to the actual chalking. And wait until I show you what I'm going to use with chalking. This is going to be just very, very subtle. And like I said, I could go with a totally different look on the opposite side if I wanted to do something like that. I'm coming at you from the suburbs west of Chicago. Drop me a line. Let me know where you're watching from. I always like to know where my viewers are watching from. If this is your first time checking out one of my lives, drop me a line. Let me know that it's your first time so I can give you a proper welcome. We got our first snow of the year today. Just about 2 inches or so, and it kind of got a little slushy, and a lot of it is melted, which is fine with me. I'm not a real fan of snow anymore. I used to. I mean, it's pretty, but I guess a broken ankle, or 2 later, you decide you don't like walking in it. Okay, almost done with this. Woo! Getting kind of dusty fingers here. I'll clean this up in a moment. And I could always distress it a little bit more once I'm finished. I just want to make sure it's fully distressed before I add any embellishments, because I wouldn't want them to be in the way of anything. And just doing a little bit more, whoops, around the edges here. Okay, let me grab a paper towel and clean up my mess. Hi, Tammy, how you doing? I usually keep my water bottle filled with distilled water so that if I need to thin out my paste, I can do that. And I always want to use distilled water so that I don't have any problems with any of the minerals in my tap water. We have Lake Michigan water, but even so, I wouldn't want any of the problems and any issues of the minerals interacting with the paste pigments and making my paste a different color than what I wanted it to be. So that's the reason I use distilled water. And because my little spray bottle is handy on my surface, I generally use that for cleanup or whatever else at the same time, as opposed to running over to the sink and cleaning things up. Spritz this up a little bit more and clean off the rest of this dust. And we'll get on with this. Okay, so the transfer I'm going to use is 18 inches by 18 inches. It's rather large. It's perfect for an 18-inch pillow, but I'm going to only use part of it. Let me take it out of its envelope. Our transfers come in cellophane envelopes, and on the back of each envelope are instructions for how to use the transfer and how to clean it. So if you're ever unsure, you can refer to that. And also, I have a how-to that I did last week that is posted up on this page. It's also in the VIP group, and it is also on YouTube. And it's basically just called How to Chalk. Or maybe How to Chalk and Create Your Own Home DIY Decor. If you ever have any questions about any of the procedures, any of the techniques, drop me a line in the comments, even if it doesn't apply to what we're going over with. Okay, our transfers come on a backer sheet. They're made out of vinyl, which is the teal, and silk screen. You're seeing through that to the backer of the carrier sheet. They're adhesive back. And generally, I would peel this off of its backer and fuzz it. But I'm not going to use the whole transfer, so I'm going to keep part of it on its backer sheet. There's no reason to pull it off and maneuver 18 inches of adhesive for a small project. I need to just grab a fuzzing towel. And whereas normally I apply it to the fuzzing towel, this time I'm going to just apply it to the transfer. If you don't have a fuzzing towel, you can use a regular towel or a pair of jeans or a sweater or really anything that's handy that will apply a little bit of lint. And the reason you want to do this is to put some lint on the adhesive so it doesn't stick quite as snugly as it would otherwise. We don't want to have an issue lifting it off of our surface if it's difficult to peel up. And I just left a big piece of lint there. Let me get that off. Okay. So to make this easy, I'm going to lay this against both of these at the same time. I think that'll work fine. I just want to make enough room here. Now, this might be a little difficult because I can't see what I'm doing. I do a little bit differently just because I'm on camera here. I'm going to put my surface on my transfer instead of my transfer on my surface. If that makes any sense. See if I can get these lined up properly. And I'm putting the distress side down because that's the side I want to chalk on. And then I'm going to try lifting this up and straightening it out. We'll see how it looks. I've only done this one other time, so it'll be interesting. And only with one surface, so here I am trying to juggle two surfaces at once. You know what, actually that's probably silly. Let me take it off and just do one at a time. Okay. I want to make sure that my transfer doesn't have any air bubbles. There was a little air bubble underneath it right here. I want to make sure I don't have any air bubbles because the chalk paste will not go through evenly if there are air bubbles. So let me get them off of there. Make sure it's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to use our Shimmer Frost paste. It has a really nice creamy texture, just like all our new creamy textures. And the Shimmer Frost actually has a little bit of shimmer and shine to it. Kind of like a pearlescence almost on it. So I'm going to put some on my surface. I kind of put a little bit too much there, but that's fine. And then I'm going to use my squeegee to just cover my transfer. So I'm holding it in place. I'm holding my surface in place because it's a little tricky in that the transfer is larger than the surface and my surface is moving around a little bit on me. So to be able to get the edges and whatever, I need to hold it in place as I apply the chalk paste. And I'm trying not to go off the transfer because then it's a little difficult to pick up the excess chalk paste and put it back in the jar. Okay, once I have it applied and through all the silk screen, I want to go over it, smooth it out, remove any lines or bumps or whatever, and then remove any excess. Put my excess paste back into the jar. There's no sense wasting it. And I'm going to lift my transfer off of my surface. Always lift from the top, the bottom, the left or the right. Never pull or tug on a corner because we don't want to stretch it, because our transfer is kind of like fabric where you'd be pulling it on the bias. Okay, so I've lifted this off. I'll give you a little peek. This is going to take about 8 minutes or so to dry. And I'm using the Shimmer Frost, so it's going to be white on white. One of my favorite looks in clothing is a white on white silk blouse. I just love the look, and that's what this reminds me of. And you'll see the shimmer a little bit more as it dries. So I'm going to put this aside to dry, take my other heart, and basically do the same thing using a different area of the transfer. And I want to make sure I get at least one full heart on here. So I'm just going to maneuver this a little bit. And there we go. Same thing, press it down. Make sure there's no air bubbles. Okay. And then apply my chalk paste again. How simple and easy is this? Okay, once I have it through all the silk screen, smooth it out, remove any lines, any excess, return it to the jar. Get the rest of these lines here, make sure I have everything covered really good. Okay. And then once again, I'm going to lift it off of my surface. I just need a place to hold it down for a second while I lift. There we go. I'm going to move this transfer out of the way. When I'm done, I'm actually going to take it into the bathroom and hit it with the shower spray because it's 18 by 18. It's a little bit easier to handle that way. Or actually in a kitchen sink, a farmhouse sink would be perfect. Just need to put this on a flat surface so I don't get paste on anything else. There we go. Got that out of the way. So as I let these two dry, I'm going to work on my embellishments. I don't know if you can see the shimmer there. Here we go. That's better. Kind of let the light catch it a bit. Okay, so I'll put that aside. Remove my stir stick. Cover up my paste. I'm all done with my chalking portion. Now what I was thinking of is I have these leather ribbons, if you will. And I just, like I said, I thought it would be nice to use a little bit of leather and lace. I need a scissors here to open this up. And let me grab my lace. And this is just some crocheted ribbon lace. That might be a little bit too small. Let's see. This might be good. No, that might be too big for the small one. Well, let's see. Maybe these two. Oh, slightly different colors. Maybe both in that one then. One's more of an ecru than the other. And I was actually thinking almost of this gray ribbon or gray leather strip, because it seems to go a little bit with the gray where I've distressed it of the heart. And what do you think? I think that'll go pretty good. So it's going to be very subtle, very mild, kind of sophisticated and elegant meets farmhouse distressed. I don't know, call it what you want, right? So I'm just going to make a couple bows, small bows with this crocheted ribbon. I might need to go a little bit larger than that. And then actually, I'm going to probably use a glue dot for these, but you could actually just hot glue them on to make them permanent. Ah, don't like how that turned out. Let me try that again. I want to make sure that the little picots on this ribbon. Oh, one's going to be up, one's going to be down. I think that'll be fine. And obviously you could use whatever embellishments strike your fancy, whatever you have laying around, whatever you find appealing. I want this one to be a little bit smaller. The only problem with crocheted ribbon is it's so soft it has a tendency to kind of like stick to itself. So it's not as easy to manipulate as regular ribbon. And actually a pen or a pencil works great at taking these little edges and poofing them up. Okay, let's see if this is dry. Our paste goes on wet liquid and will dry to a hard matte finish, or in this case a little bit shiny of a finish. See if you can see the shimmer here. Let me unroll all of this. I'm sure I'm not going to use all of it, but a little bit easier to handle it if I get it off the spool. And I'm just going to wrap it around a couple times, tie it in front, and then add the bow over the tie. One more spin around, I think. Oops. Let's try that again. Obviously, I have to add the hot glue or the glue dot. Make sure this other one is, yes, I know, I realize I have paste all over my fingers. This is dry. So basically the same look. They're going to be slightly different because the images were taken from different parts of the transfer, but they still coordinate. How's that? Boy, I had just enough of the leather. Sometimes you need an extra hand, don't you? Oops. There we go. Obviously, I could tack that down a little bit with the hot glue gun. What do you think? Simple, quick, easy. About a half hour there. Like I said, it's real subtle. In brighter light, I'm sure the images will be picked up a little bit more. I think it would look great on a bookcase, on a mantle, on a tier tray. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks so very much for watching. See you soon.